Hello, my name is Koa, and I will be covering films in the 1920s. The 1920s, also dubbed the Roaring Twenties, was a time of economic success and blooming innovations within film, fashion, and expression. Newly introduced media was well received during this time, and through the 20s, talkies were just stepping into their light as the next best thing. Before their moving picture spoke to them, however, let's discuss the early years and how film was already doing. Following World War I, the people of Germany were plagued with great tension about the fears brought about by losses of war and the transitional period after a state of devastation. Our first of four, produced in 1920 by German director Robert Wiene, is The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, an expressionist film born in the midst of the German expressionist movement. It lays into the themes of war, terror, and tragedy experienced by the people during the times of its production. By using distorted sets and exaggerating shadows, movement, and what the viewer is visually intaking, the purpose of eliciting fear into his audience is easily achieved. Other forms of expressionism, such as the fantastical elements of the makeup or the uncanny stillness in some scenes versus others, drives this horror story home as a memorable and frightening experience they would never forget. And neither would filmmakers for years to come. The iconic shadow of a monster being stretched down a hallway can be attributed to this film. It's a trope cinema has used to create shape language, further their expressionism, and make suspenseful moments that have us wondering what slimy or scaling creature will emerge from beyond the shadows next. Shadow work was really one of this film's best features, as the harsh, chiaroscuro lighting makes for the perfect darkness that creepy white eyes can protrude from. As successful as it was at the time, its influence spanned cinema and made its way to Universal Studios, and with them, also borrowing many tropes from their prime horror movie era. For this next film, we have a bit of a checklist before we begin. It's an expressionist film like the last one? Check. German film? Check. Horror film? Also check. The major difference about this film, and definitely the most important, is vampires. Not quite like Twilight with glistening skin and high school girl crushes, but in a more authentic and darkened light. Nosferatu was directed by F.W. Murnau and was the first vampire film, and also uses the language of shadow lighting to portray the threat that is Nosferatu's looming presence. During its time, this fang-filled freak emptied the ticket booths and became the most iconic monster figure of the 1920s. This was in part due to how meticulously crafted the persona of Nosferatu was in both the director's and actor's visions. Side note, during this movie's upbringing, montaging was becoming more refined, and this is actually one of the first movies produced to use it, which is kinda cool. Films like Dracula, Let the Right One In, and Interview with a Vampire were all predecessors of the iconography of Nosferatu, including the 2024 film revived over a century later. I mean, heck, even SpongeBob got a kick out of it.
If that was you on the phone and you on the bus, then who was flickering the lights? Nosferatu!
There's finally a break from the horror movies as we're going to review Sunrise, a 1927 film about a man who is convinced to drown his wife by a pretty woman who entices him. I'm sorry, this isn't a horror movie? It's actually a romance which blossoms after the wife runs away, as she should, and the husband pursues her. They grow together and the wife regains her trust. Somehow the two live happily ever after. F.W. Murnau, also responsible for this film, was well received for his production of this film in part due to the impressive cinematography. The landscapes were shot using innovative camera techniques like double exposure and superimposition. It was the first release film to use the Movietone system and the first with an actual soundtrack. Movietone, for the record, is an optical sound recording system for motion pictures that syncs sound and visuals. This was around the time that films in general were beginning to switch from movies to talkies, as sound production was rising as a concept and in quality. Though this was a highly innovative technique for actors' voices to be heard that the audience loved, it was also picked up by animators to add audible life to their cartoons as well. The fourth of four films I'll be covering is a short one, but within the past year it's become public domain, so rather than tell you, I'm just going to do this. Steamboat Willie was Disney's first Mickey Mouse animated short film to be released. It is from 1928 and featured the iconic little mouse we recognize today. Upon its release, it exploded with popularity. It's massively responsible for Disney's early success involving their cinema. Their animated shorts became sought after, both entertaining for adults and children. It used the very same sound sync technology as well as music to match the expressive character movements and fluidity. In Disney, due to the success of Mickey alone, he's got movies, he's got merch, he's got a theme park, a theme song, a bubble wand, multiple TV shows, and he's hidden all over the park. He's iconic, and everyone knows those three little dots. I see them in my sleep, please help me. Steamboat Willie opened up a lifetime of success for Disney, and all they had to do was uphold the legacy that it paved. This is in part due to just how important it was that the blend of animation and music came together. It didn't take long before Mickey was talking, too. In 1929, Mickey said his first words, "Oh boy," in Carnival Kid, which was first voiced by Walt Disney himself. The animation for both of these Mickey Mouse films was expressive enough to be theatrical with just 2D moving characters. Their bodies were stretchy and bouncy and full of life, and accompanied by the instrumentation, it was no wonder families were piling up at the doors. Today, animation for Mickey and his friends has become much more established, but you still see traces from his past and his present, which I think is charming. In fact, you can see the lasting impact of all these films and their modern predecessors, and that's just as great. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed, and take care.